likes to do with his gameplay is his style plays more towards like the mid stages of the game. He'll like play some early cards, but then he's got these really heavy, impactful mid-game cards that you don't always see. And is going to bring Zoo in game number 1. It looks like Peter's got some form of Patron Warrior here as well. Inner Rage, a very big indicator of that, as well as the Frolic Berserker that comes in. But SilentStorm, Possessed Villager and Opening Hand, such a good card that Warlock's picked up, as well as Forbidden Ritual, which is, it's a 0 mana card, but it spends all of your remaining mana and summons that many 1/1s on the board.
1/1 tentacles, mind you.
Slap you around a little bit.
But I know that Patron is a deck that's very good against that card. Many classes don't have their premium area of effect board clears anymore after the rotation, but Whirlwind still exists, and it clears them out real good.
Yeah, and Ravaging Ghoul also introduced into the format as well. 3 mana, 3/3, Battle Cry, deal 1 damage to all other minions. So a very solid Whirlwind at that, even in the class. I mean, just the fact that it's a 3/3 body. So your opponent will have to invest into it or let you be able to use that 3/3 body as you see fit.
Yeah, and from talking to some of these new age Patron players, they seem to think the match against Zoo now is better than it's ever been. You kind of replace the Deathbite Death Rattle with the Ravaging Ghoul that you just talked about. Going to do a lot to clean up that board of 1/1s and small health things, and there's no Haunted Creeper, there's no Nerubian Egg. A lot of value is lost from the Death Rattle effect from Max Ramus.
Yeah, so it is going to be Frolic Berserker and Inner Rage to help clear up this board just a little bit. You know, Inner Rage on an Abusive Sergeant, not really the best use for it, but it helps keep his Frolic Berserker protected on this board state. And I really like the way that SilentStorm has played this so far. I actually went with 2 1-drops on turn 2 to get extra power on board. And not only that, but the Dark Peddler gives him more information for this turn as well.
And you could just take the Tentacle of N'Zoth there and give your opponent more patrons.
Yeah, instead he's going to take Corruption, which is actually one you see rarely taken. But in this spot, it feels pretty good. I mean, the Dark Peddler Battle Cry is going to deal the rest of the damage necessary to take out that Frolic Berserker.
Yeah. I mean, he really didn't have a great answer to it, so just has to take that Corruption. Like you said, pretty solid here. Could go for a Battle Rage this turn, or could just take extra armor from the double Armor Smith.
Yeah, Armor Smith's also going to do a really good job at contesting the board. I mean, the fact that Implosion's no longer in the format, these guys are going to die a lot less often, and at the same time, they contest Forbidden Ritual as it stands. I mean, the last thing I think SilentStorm wants to be doing is filling up the board too much and then not really having a way to respond. And he's actually 1 mana off of playing a Sea Giant this turn as well. Could go Bilefin Corruptor into coin Forbidden Ritual. That Sea Giant would cost 1 mana.
Yeah, that would be insane. Wouldn't even really have to play the Murloc there.
It's going to be Slam to help clear this up as well. Curious how this Inner Rage is going to be pointed. I mean, we just saw him Inner Rage 2/1. I wonder if he's in the business of Inner Raging a 4/1 here.
Yeah, the second one's a lot, worse to let go of, but he does have to do it.
Yeah,
going to clean up the Possessed Villager too, and clear board, which we've seen Zoo struggle with.
Yeah, I mean, it does not have the same comeback potential as it once had. You know, the fact that none of your early minions are Nerubian Egg and Haunted Creeper means that a lot less stuff sticks around. And that's a big impact to Zoo decks. They need to get going, they need to get presence on board and get value from it. Peter's board has been completely squashed, and looking like he may be relegated to just using Forbidden Ritual here. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a coin Forbidden Ritual, maybe for 6 tokens, but he's just going to go for 5, hang on the coin for a later time, and this is going to give the go-ahead to SilentStorm to Battle Rage, pick up 3 cards, kill 2 of these tentacles, and add Bloodhoof Brave to the board.
Well, yeah.
And even is that a...
Yeah, that's an Arathi Weaponsmith.
Wow. I forgot the name of that card.
That's an old school card, man. It's like an arena card. It's really good in arena.
It's kind of a solid 4-drop, honestly.
Well, yeah, with the absence of Deathbite, having an extra weapon in your deck, even in the form of, a minion, can be very valuable. We're going to see the Sea Giant come out alongside all the other minions, and even a power overwhelming. So this is a huge swing turn.
And this is the kind of turns that Zoo is looking for. And before, these turns were accessible a lot easier due to those Death Rattle minions. Now it's Forbidden Ritual really supplying the gas to get this done. So he's going to trade 1 point of damage to face, which is pretty inconsequential at this point. It's going to come down to whether or not SilentStorm can really effectively answer the board position. But with a second Bloodhoof Brave, you know, it's not really doing that much work versus Sea Giant.
This is where it's actually weak, is when your opponent can kill it in that one shot. Then it really is just a 2-6, which is exactly where you don't want it to be.
Yeah, and no real clean attacks here either. I mean, you can't take out the Imp King boss with the Fiery War Axe. Would be relegated to just killing a 2-1, and then maybe Acolyte and Arathi Weaponsmith just to get some extra power on board.
Yeah, and I mean, that Imp King boss is going to propagate some imps against those Armor Smiths.
It's definitely a bit of a problem. We're going to, I mean, SilentStorm's looking to propagate those patrons, but he's going to have to fight through the propagated imps first. And Peter, first window of opportunity to attack for him, and he's reached the stage of the game where he will now be drawing 2 cards. I'm sorry, SilentStorm. I keep mixing them up for some reason. I feel like SilentStorm's just a patron player. I don't know why I keep thinking that.
Wow, Argus is a great pickup because it lets him. Before this, you're looking at maybe having to attack 8 damage into an Acolyte of Pain. After this, you just get to throw in a nice clean 3 and go 9 to face. Because had he not traded in the Acolyte of Pain, it could have picked off that 1/1 imp, drawn 2 cards, and maybe gotten Peter back into this game.
Oh, that's a big pickup, though.
Yeah.
9 comes crashing in, but again, I feel like that damage is largely inconsequential at the moment. Peter's just got all the tools in the world to start to dismantle
here
his
it
board
comes.
position.
This is, I mean, I believe this is a patron turn, right?
Yeah, how could it not be? So Armorsmith can run into the Imp King boss here, put it down to 3. You could use the other Armorsmith and the weapon, or the Arathi Weaponsmith to trade off the rest of this Imp King boss. You know, making extra imps here doesn't matter because you're just going to whirlwind them all away anyway.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic turn for Peter. I mean, this is exactly what he was looking for.
This is a lot of propagation.
You gotta rub it in from last week, aren't you? TJ started it, not me.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So execute, effective 8 damage for 1 mana, clear up that 2/2, and suddenly it's 2 patrons and a weapon.
And I mean, this is a state that I don't know if Zoo has stuff to deal with this.
I mean, you might be looking at Zoo moving back to like including a copy of Hellfire to be able to fight these kinds of turns. I mean, because you are not beating this.
Go.
Yeah, this is. I mean, what can you do? Anything you play is going to die to a Grim Patron and add an extra 1 to board.
Go. Your turn. Yeah, and I mean, this is exactly where Patron wants to be in every matchup, but especially ones where you know there's nothing they can do to these patrons.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Zoo decks don't really have like a ton of burst in them. It's really relying on that early game, and Finley joins the party.
Yep. Could go for the 2 hero powers, but I think he's opting to, if he could get life tap, and that's exactly what he gets.
Peter snaps off the life tap. Blood to Ichor in hand, and that's going to summon even more patrons should he want it to. But it looks like he's going to take out, just take out this 3/2 Bile Pin. I mean, all the options in the world. There's just not a way he's losing this game. Makes an extra patron, gets use out of the 3/1 body, adds a 2/6 taunt to board. You beat it.
Patron's pretty good. That's all I have to say.
Forbidden Ritual summoning 7 1/1s isn't even good here. It's a liability at this point.
That card's not very good.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Just not right now. Doomguard joins the party, but that cannot hit through a 2/6 taunt even. I don't think there's any way Peter can lose this game. SilentStorm's going to scoop it up, and Peter takes game number 1 with Warlock.
Yep. Definitely a nice showing from him. Really showcasing that patron deck strength even more. Sometimes it wins through patron, sometimes it just smorks you down, but that deck's been really strong today so far.
Yeah, I mean, seeing that deck in action now, I'm kind of getting a glimpse of why Crane was doing so well with it on ladder. It's because I imagine he was running into stuff like Zoo over and over again, which we know is a powerful deck right now. And in a format where there's no bans, you know, Zoo just may not be the right choice for this event.
Well, overall, we do have the information that Warlock is doing extremely well.
Sure.
Warrior hovering a little above 50%, so not doing too terribly. But as we get into these later rounds and we start to get, you know, the best of the best playing against each other, maybe, yeah, Zoo is one of the more counterable decks and Patron isn't.
Yeah, it's going to be a Zoo Mirror, Possessed Villager for both players. It is a Flame Juggler in Peter's hand.
Yeah, starting to see kind of variations in the build. We did see the, is it Bilefin?
Yeah, Bile, or
Is it Bile or Bile? I don't know.
I think it's Bilefin.
Bilefin, yeah.
Bilefin Tidehunter, sounds about right.
Yep.
Lands the juggle, and that's great news. I mean, this is what Zoo is trying to do. Establish 2 minions on board and start punishing your opponent with your options.
And the mirror, since, you know, the departure of Implosion, I have to imagine the Zoo Mirror kind of resets to how it was. And especially without Nerubian Egg as kind of a swing card, this matchup is a lot about getting the board and never letting go.
Yeah, I mean, you will see lots of trading going on in this matchup very often. I mean, going face a bunch, you know, you kind of think of a Zoo deck, you're like, well, I want to put a bunch of minions on board and hit my opponent really quickly. It is a very fast deck in that regard, and when you don't have anything to trade to, yes, you should be hitting your opponent in the face. But for the most part, you should be trying to restrict your opponent's option in this mirror match and make sure that there's nothing they can do to regain the board.
He's just
position.
going for the juggle.
I don't blame him. Whoa!
Kobe.
Sometimes.
Yep, so that's going to put him into a nice spot, but certainly not out of the woods. I mean, I feel like he's very happy that Peter had the life tap here, but still not quite in a great spot.
Yeah, looks like M-Gang Boss is going to join the party.
I mean, when you have to go face in the Zoo Mirror, can't really be too happy. So even just going to take this trade.
I think it's fine. I think
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
Superior trade by a large margin.
You just see how weak going face is that you're willing to trade into your opponent's Death Rattle minions even.
So second life tap, that's going to be Abusive Sergeant and Voidwalker protecting that Abusive Sergeant with that 1/3 taunt body, and then the Flame gets cleared up here.
Yeah.
Still looking good for Peter.
It's going to be a solid turn from SilentStorm here, but it's going to end up getting met by Power Overwhelming. We're still really in that phase where both players keep having answers. So eventually somebody's going to miss.
Yeah. Oh, Dark Peddler. As well. That's a big, this is a big juggle right now for Peter. If he hits this juggle, he is going to be in such good shape. But if he misses it,
it's a close game.
Whew. That miss is critical right now.
Wasn't even a nerf. Now, good pickups. Really happy to see a 1-drop there.
Yeah, and the Voidwalker alongside Direwolf Alpha, I mean, that means Abusive Sergeant won't trade favorably into the Voidwalker at that point either, but M-Cake Boss gets picked up too.
Yeah.
Defender of Argus
That
really going to solidify this board.
Yep.
The first Defender of Argus turn that's very strong, I feel like is the big turning point of the game.
It's the last Defender of Argus turn that's very strong.
Well, you say that, but Sea Giant gets picked up immediately for SilentStorm. So it's looking like this might force another trade, but with Darkshire Councilman and M-Gang Boss, I think Peter's going to be happy with that.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to start going face or if he's going to throw those minions in.
I think you protect.
You protect by trading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
mean,
can
you have
see
M-Gang
it.
Boss in play.
He's at least throwing in the 6. Looks like he's just going for the full trade. Can't
He's going to
blame
put
him.
that 6 to face. No, he's not. Pretty easy trades, and SilentStorm Flame Imp's no good right now.
Yeah, I mean, with that Darkshire Councilman could just run away with the game now.
I'll tell you what, Brand Flame Imp is not a good combo.
Well, Flame Imp Bran is okay.
Yeah, that one's fine. He's just going to have to Defender of Argus this and hope that this Flame Imp takes 2 attacks to get through, but the Councilman, unless Peter just doesn't draw a minion, when not only does he draw a minion,
that's a lot of minions. Admirable.
Oh my gosh. That is a huge draw right now. I mean, that's game ending.
Yeah.
How on earth is SilentStorm going to come back from this? The fact that it goes through each animation.
Watch him slither in.
7-5 Councilman. And finally, with face attacks start. No real response here from SilentStorm. It's not going to help.
All right, you just jam him for 10.
Unfortunately, there's not really a way to win if that's the case.
Yeah.
So Brandon Councilman hope that this absorbs some power. I mean, this is a lot of help on board for SilentStorm right now.
Yeah.
Woo!
Dim Guard's real good.
It's all right. It's all right here. Only gets to kill the whole board and be left with all the power in the world.
Yeah. All the power in the world? Like all of it?
Every single point. Nobody else in Hearthstone has power.
It's just
right now.
5, Admiral. Calm down.
5's a lot, dude.
Okay, it is kind of a lot.
There's no coming back from this. Yeah, we said that about the Freeze Mage game last match, but
No, we've been pretty on point this match about calling it.
yeah, that's no help. Even a 3-mana Sea Giant can't get this done. There's just 10 damage on board. Even through the Voidwalker. Yep, SilentStorm gonna be forced to scoot this one up. Peter's up 2-0.
Just has to get a win with his third deck, which was, let's take a look.
Yep, had
Looks like it was Shaman.
Yep, so Warrior and Warlock.
This is the first Shaman we're seeing, and this is the class that everyone was talking about when Whispers of the Old Gods was being spoiled, when it was released. Every card Shaman got, people were like, oh my god, like, Shaman's gonna be nuts.
I mean, it does have a ton of strong cards. The thing about it is a lot of those cards are kind of competing for the same mana slot, which really makes it interesting to me. I mean, you look at Master of Evolution, Flame Wreath Faceless, Thing from Below, oftentimes a 4-drop. That's a lot of 4-drops. It's like it's too many.
And especially with Overload playing a role in how you build your deck, Shaman deck building is going to take at least a little bit to get it correct. So these early Shaman builds are definitely going to be a little different, I think, and kind of all over the place, a little unrefined. But at the end of the day, Flame Wreath Faceless on turn 4 is pretty good.
It's just the Shaman version of Mountain Giant.
Yeah.
Like, rather than having to
You get
invest,
to play Handlock with your aggro deck.
rather than having to life tap to invest into the giant 4-mana card, you just get to pay the mana later.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I use credit cards all the time. Now I'm using them in Flame Wreath Faceless version. When you got Tunnel Troll, it even offers some % cash back.
Yeah. Well, no, that's when you have like Lava Shock, right? Like Lava Shock is, yeah.
Or in this case, Eternal Sentinel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, is going to force the Rockbiter here from Peter, so SilentStorm looking to be in a good start for this one.
Yeah, I feel like Zoo will have an
Look
all
at
right
that
time.
pickup. Imp Gang Boss is huge on this board.
Oh, yeah. Not really a great answer to that from Shaman. Still thinking about it a bit. He could choose to go with the Councilman. I'd be a little surprised, though.
It's going to be met with a Lava Burst, but maybe he's just okay with that. I mean, if your opponent Lava Bursts this, I think you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But I think from Peter's end, he feels pretty good, too, knowing that now he gets value off the Eternal Sentinel that he kept.
So Imp Gang Boss going to be the play, and 2 mana from Peter. It is effectively 4 mana this turn, but it comes in 2 mana blocks. So Sentinel and draw some cards.
Yeah, the second Sentinel is a nice pickup, too. Next turn, you could go like Lightning Bolt, Sentinel to unlock 3 crystals. Now, Shaman is missing Crackle now, so that critical mass where you can just burn your opponent out did get lowered by quite a bit.
Yeah, substantial margin. 4.5 damage per Crackle on average. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
so many situations I've been in, I look at the board and I go, well, if I Crackle him for 5, I can kill him this turn.
Yeah, also, it was just kind of like the miracle. If you can Crackle for 6, you can win any game almost. So that's gone. And Shifter's Ruse is picked up.
I like it. I like the choice. You know, a potential drop of more than 1 mana from a Dark Peddler is a big deal.
Yeah.
And there's that Overload coming into play. That Flame Wreath Faceless is unavailable this turn.
Yep. Just gonna have to go with something else.
I mean, even Lightning Bolt's looking pretty darn weak here, but I guess you have to trim the board position.
Yeah, I mean, you do get a lot of value out of it because of the Eternal Sentinel effect, but like you said, it's not quite what he wanted to do.
Finley going to join the party as well. Looking like the Abusive Sergeant's lined up to trade in that Dark Peddler.
Yeah, I mean, Fire Blast definitely the pick there. Two of the weaker ones in the Warrior and Priest tier of power.
Peter would really like to get this Abusive Sergeant on board, but if he does that, the effect's going to be lost. But I'm not sure he's going to be able to really grab a huge effect from that this game. I mean, maybe there's a chance he looks at this board and sees that the trades are just very favorable for SilentStorm anyway, and just goes face.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I definitely think so.
I like it.
I mean, you're leaving behind a 2-power minion no matter what. What is that card?
That is the Undercity Valiant, I believe it's called.
What does that do?
It's a battle. It's a combo. I'm sorry.
Combo
one
deal
damage.
1?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad.
I need to relearn all these card names. Cards that I've never played with.
Yeah.
Are being seen because of cards like Shifter's Eras.
Yeah.
Werewolf Alpha, fantastic on this board state. It's looking to me like Forbidden Ritual is going to be the play here, but maybe it's just trade an Undercity Valiant and then Flame Imp. Yeah, it looks really good to me. Nailed the name, yes.
I like how you're a little unsure. You're like, I think it's... You sounded very confident, though.
I was confident, but...
Now, if you were wrong, you weren't going to call yourself out, were you? You were just like...
No, I totally was going to call myself out if I was wrong. I'm not... What kind of guy do you think I am, Chalky?
Oh.
Even still, very easy trades here for SilentStorm. So Peter,
Yeah.
despite the fact that he was off to a good start, SilentStorm's start just matched up very well against it. Couple of tight plays, and suddenly he's looking very ahead.
Maybe a Doomhammer can salvage the game, but SilentStorm's hand is very powerful.
Just like that, 7/7 is gone, and Forbidden Ritual. Oh, he's not even going to Forbidden Ritual, just going to Doomguard and push damage. Says this is enough. And with Peter having one card in hand, I'm inclined to agree. Oh, is there any chance he can win? Okay, so Doomhammer.
You gotta trade, unfortunately.
Do you? I don't think you can afford to trade.
You have to trade.
I think he loses if he trades, 100%. So if he goes 4 to face right here, puts SilentStorm to 13, draws Ancestral Knowledge into Lightning Bolt and Rockbiter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the play. Defender of Argus, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
That's
13,
lethal.
14, 15 damage.
Yeah.
SilentStorm going to get on board here now, 2-1. Still in Peter's favor, just as we talked about last series. When you're down 2-0 and you pick up that first win, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Well, unfortunately for Tim, that breath of fresh air was his last, as Firebat picked up game 4. SilentStorm's going to be hoping that's not the case.
Yeah, doesn't want to follow in footsteps of Tim in this one. So now, Warlock's been locked up for SilentStorm. He's got Shaman and Warrior to work with.
Shaman and Rogue.
I'm sorry, Shaman and Rogue, yes.
Yeah.
To work with. It is Warrior.
That's
for
a big
Peter's been
distinction
locked up.
because Rogue versus Shaman, it got a little better, honestly, because sapping a Flame Wreath Faceless is one of the best plays in the game now.
Not only that, but Shaman lost Crackle. Like, it's playing a lot more to board at this point, and that's the kind of thing that Rogue can really easily disrupt. I mean, having lost Anti-Keelbot, Rogue was kind of looking like it might be in bad shape versus Shaman. I mean, just a lot of early damage from the aggressive starts that build can have, and suddenly you're out of the game. But lest Peter draws something like Tunnel Trog into Totem Golem very early on, and SilentStorm just won't have an answer, Rogue looking like he could very easily pick some of those games up.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a little bit of the matchup in the first few days of the Whispers of the Old Gods release, and I mean, I'm finding it about a 50-50 now. If you've got your Rogue deck built pretty aggressively, it's almost just a race.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we saw. We saw Firebat deal 20 damage from hand on turn 8 with Rogue. You know, the problem with Rogue, though, is if you have that in your deck and you kind of draw those tools early, you can really fall into the game. And we're going to see a Shaman Mirror first here instead.
Yep. Going to worry about the Rogue later. Embrace the Smork for now.
SilentStorm's going to pitch away that Flame Juggler, too. Doesn't really match up well against a lot of the Shaman minions that are out there. It's still a 2-3 body. And not the greatest looking start for Peter. You know, he does have Feral Spirit on turn 3, but if he does it, he can't play the Flame Wreath Faceless. SilentStorm, he's got turn 1 Totem Golem into turn 2 Finley. This is going to be a tough start. I mean, even if the Flame Juggler hits, doesn't contest the Totem Golem completely.
Yeah. Totem Golem's going to put in a lot of work. He could Earthshock it away. Go for the Faceless on 4.
Ooh, 3 relatively poor options for SilentStorm on this.
Yeah.
This Discover, it looks like.
Lesser heal, yeah, I think that would be the optimal choice here. I mean, Dagger Mastery, not awful, but
Finley
if
for
he can
Peter.
grab a 1 damage hero power, misses.
You know, even Steady Shot not looking too terribly appealing. I mean, this matchup went it went very far away from the race damage.
All
It
right,
went
so
more towards the board control.
get the Smorks out of here. Let's take this nice and slow. Some lesser heals.
I'll tell you what, Flame Tongue Totem's
Flame
looking
Tongue,
pretty
yeah.
appealing here. You know, but this is kind of what we were talking about with the Shaman builds, is that the overload really affects the way that your early curve works. I mean, Feral Spirit into Flame Wreath Faceless is not a combo. It's kind of a non-bow.
Well, you can do it the other way around and it works.
It's a little bit weaker that way, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it means you're skipping your turn 3, one of your premier plays for Shaman.
Yep.
So Sentinel going to unlock, and then Flame Tongue Totem going to ensure some very favorable trades here for SilentStorm. He's looking good.
And he's just going to get those trades. And now, this isn't a matchup that you can't come back on board from. There are comeback mechanics in these decks. You can, you know, worst comes to worst, you fire some burn spells at minions. But Doomhammer is huge.
Yeah.
If one player has it and the other doesn't, some crazy things can happen.
In this spot, though, it's looking like it is all SilentStorm from here. Feral Spirit's even going to get traded into very well. This is looking like the Flame Wreath Faceless turn. With Lava Burst drawn, I mean, now some options.
Yeah. I mean, getting down a totem isn't even bad.
There's no totems available.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they both
the totems are gone.
They both have priest hero powers.
My
now.
bad.
It's very rare you see the Finley versus Finley into priest hero power and priest hero power. Yep, Faceless just too strong to pass up. 9 extra power on board here.
Oh.
I mean, I'm thinking you might have to fling 2 burn spells to that thing. He's going to take it a little bit slower, wants to use Feral Spirit. This allows him to Lava
That's
Burst next
interesting.
turn after the Flame with Faceless attacks.
He could have opted to clear off the Flame Tongue by lightning bolting it and then taking 2 damage on his Finley. That would leave the board a little cleaner, which I think I would have liked because I don't really see a guaranteed way that he kills that Flame Tongue. And I mean, the Flame Tongue's representing a lot right now, especially with a Priest hero power in play. If you can't get rid of it, it's going to get healed back up.
Tunneltrog's a nice draw for this one. Lava Burst. SilentStorm 4 with the hero power last turn to get the Totem Golem on board. I can't blame him for that. But maybe a little bit of light at the end of this tunnel now for Peter.
Yeah, we're getting into some strange turns where, Ancestral Knowledge is a great pickup.
When you're in the top deck wars, any card draw is a very welcome sight.
Yeah, and there's Doomhammer. So
And
I was
Lava
about
Burst.
to say we're getting into a point where both players might just have some awkward responsive cards, but I think Peter, or SilentStorm rather, really just took a big lead in that battle.
Yeah. Heal up on the Flame Tongue Totem to keep it uncontested as well. That Ancestral Knowledge was so good. Peter answers back. No room for the Doomhammer this turn.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, Flame Tongue's pretty good.
It's looking great here. Gets a trade off the Totem Golem. Adds the Flame Juggler to board.
So we are kind of in a spot where this game could get rather grindy. I mean, especially with Priest hero powers in play, you're going to see a lot less minions on the board than you normally would, and you're going to see a lot less aggression than you normally would.
Yep. Eternal Sentinel will allow him to play that and Doomhammer this turn. I mean, the real question here is where do you aim the Doomhammer?
So you just
at?
take an 8?
I think taking 8 is actually pretty reasonable.
I agree.
Here.
I think Peter has a good response to this, killing both minions.
See what SilentStorm favors. I mean, he could just clear off the Flame Tongue this turn and then take 4 damage next turn. But that leaves the that leaves his board contested by what's happening.
Yeah, he's going to take
If
the
he
8.
could see Peter's hand here, I think he would make a different play.
Yeah.
But the fact that this lone card Peter's hand was a Doomhammer and followed by a
I wonder if you
Totem Golem.
I wonder if you even do the Totem Golem. Maybe you take your value of the heal.
No, wait, play the Totem Golem.
Okay.
That's dealing 10 damage if your opponent wants to kill it.
Yeah, fair enough. I think he's going to burn spell it.
I think so as well.
And we are into that situation I was talking about where this does not look like a normal aggro game.
And aggro games oftentimes turn into this. I mean, when neither player has a major burst tool available because the board's been so heavily contested, it turns into that grind.
And normally totems are involved in this, and that's kind of how you break away, but okay, well that's a way to break away.
Yeah, a 7/7 added to Peter. Flame Wreath Faceless, just such a good card. Start hammering away.
Yeah, he's going to hammer away essentially just in case he draws the second Doomhammer. Otherwise, I think I'd like to see him hold on to it because you're probably going to be putting that into a lot more minions. But I guess when there's no totems in play, it's not as big of a deal. When you know your opponent's going to be almost certainly tanking 7 next turn.
Yowza, that hurts.
Yeah.
So 22-15.
They are using their Doomhammers pretty aggressively. Here we are.
This might be a hero power pass turn.
Yes. There's almost no merit to Lava Bursting Face. This is not a high curving deck, so you'll probably have the mana for it later. This game's not ending within the next turn at least.
So Peter does have 9 damage next turn. SilentStorm will be up to 13 at that point.
So he just needs 4 off the top.
Second Urshock.
Wow, interesting that he even has 2 in the deck. That's a very responsive build. So 4 damage would end it. Oh my gosh.
Rockbiter will end this game. Lightning Bolt, he's 1 damage
quite.
off.
Oh man. It's not going to end it. With Priest Hero powers.
I kind of like Tunnel Trog Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, that's fine.
It'll put 4 damage onto your opponent if they want to kill it with that Doomhammer, or they'll have to use a spell
Yeah,
from
I
hand.
think you do hold back the Lava Burst.
And you squeeze in a hero power as well?
Yeah. Well, he can do the hero power no matter what. But, I mean, you don't want to get too greedy for the kill. Looks like you're just going to hold back everything and get ready to play the long game.
2 more cards for SilentStorm. Horse Rider, Tunnel Trog. I mean, this...
They're pretty good cards.
Yeah, I mean, this might be a little bit of a turnaround.
Gets to clear it out. Now there's 12 damage on the side of Peter. And if SilentStorm goes up to 15, he just needs any burn spell to win.
Don't worry, lads. The cavalry's here.
But like we talked about, there's less burn spells now.
3 minions on board. That's a big turn for SilentStorm. It moves it to 15. Peter needs any damage in his deck that is direct. Totem Golem's not
I
it.
mean, is there a chance that this game turns into Peter using his Doomhammer on these 2/1s and lightning bolting the 1/3 and we're just back to square one?
I think you can afford to take a little bit of damage right now. So maybe try to evaluate on your card draws. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing a Lightning Bolt on the Tunnel Trog. The Tunnel Trog obviously has got a pretty big target on its head. But it looks like he's going to try to force the...
I like this.
He's going to try to force the Doomhammer from SilentStorm.
I think this is the way the game's going, and it's a little greedy to take that extra 4. I mean, we did see the other Lava Burst already come out from him, I believe.
Oh, a huge draw for SilentStorm.
Wow. And that could be the card that breaks this game open. A lot of burn already used. Peter does not have a response. And the Doomhammer's gone. There's no inevitability in this game. And the 7/7's the inevitability.
Yeah, I was going, well, maybe the 7/7. Oh! Taking the 4. If he would have taken the 4 damage. Oh, he's just going to have to Rockbiter and take it.
Admirable is physically in pain.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it hurts so bad. 14-all, SilentStorm gets the first draw.
14-all. Oh,
And a Doomhammer gets drawn for SilentStorm. That is huge right now. Oh my gosh. What a turnaround so far from SilentStorm. I mean, this game's not done yet, but Peter's going to need some heat, and Argent Squire's not it. That Earthshock has been sitting in SilentStorm's hand for turns now.
And it's going to get Earthshock, yeah.
And Argent Horse Rider drawn. I think this is it. I think SilentStorm's got this game.
It's tough to see a way out of this one. I think both Feral Spirits are gone for Peter. That would definitely be a way back in, I think.
Not dead yet. Peter's got one turn to make something happen. Argent's not in. He's going to scoop it up.
Yeah.
SilentStorm, game number 2 locked up for him. So Rogue versus Shaman. SilentStorm on the Rogue.
Yep.
I mean, this is 2 games in a row now, down from an 0-2 deficit. I have to say, when you start out 2-0, you're feeling like you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? The series is done. Let's just...
Reverse sweeps are the worst thing ever.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, when it's tied up again, the player who was up 2-0 feels like they're down 0-2 now.
Because, like, you think about it, and you're like, the odds you win when you're up 2-0. Like, if somebody, like, bet you, they're like, hey, I bet I could take 3 games before you took 1. And you're like, no, dude. Like, I'm like 90-something%.
Yeah.
And then they just beat you.
Take a look at Peter there. He's got to be feeling a little bit nervous after those last couple games. And here we go into game number 3. Rogue versus Shaman. Peter, pretty fantastic looking start for him, but SilentStorm's got that SI7 agent. It's one of the critical cards in this matchup.
I mean, is this just a forward keep for Peter? It's a curve.
Maybe you pitch back the Flame Tongue Totem. I don't think it's too terribly good. But
coin Totem Golem, Finley, Feral Spirit, Flame Tongue. He's going to keep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
blame him. Yeah. Very powerful start for the Shaman. Coin Totem Golem into 1.
Ooh, he's even going to go with Finley here on turn 2. So playing a little bit slower, doesn't want to get sapped. Fire Blast for him on the Finley Discover. There's that Faceless Manipulator. That will indicate South Sea Deckhand and Cold Bloods as the main win condition.
Yeah,
this Rogue build. Great start for Peter now. I mean, the fact that he's slowed down that little bit, I think is going to pay off for him a lot in this particular game, because SilentStorm's turn 2 play happened to be sap.
Yeah. I tend to like going for the aggressive option and making them have it, but could just replay it now, save the coin. Is going to be what he goes with, and not many great things going on for SilentStorm's hand here. Just going to have to go with, Tomb Pillager on curve.
Pretty uncontested at the moment, though. That Overload's making a big difference right now. I mean, Argent Horse Rider and Flame Tongue would be a massive turn.
Yeah.
Overload for 1. You can have a 3-4 for 2 now, but you owe me $1 later.
I'd take it. Pay to win.
Same.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of as stumped as Peter is on this one. It's a tough turn.
I mean, the Feral Spirit's not looking too terribly appealing, but they're not bad. I mean, the fact that Blade Flurry is not a big thing in Rogue anymore means a world of difference for the kinds of plays you can make. It looks like he's eyeing the Lightning Bolt and Earthshock.
Well, he could just ping.
Yeah, but deny the coin with that Earthshock.
Yeah, but you can just ping.
I think I like denying the coin. You could coin the Flame Tongue that way too. Get some extra damage. This is going to go with Hero Power instead.
Yeah, I could see it if you coin the Flame Tongue. I think he's...
Zeril joins the party here too.
Definitely setting up.
SilentStorm's got a lot of options here. Looks like it's going to be South Sea Deckhand.
SI, maybe?
Eviscerate, Coin,
yeah.
Edwin Van Cleef. That's going to be met with the Earthshock. One of the reasons Peter might have saved that card.
Yeah. I was going to say, Earthshocking to get rid of the coin would have made this not possible, but saving the Earthshock's probably better.
It's paying off in spades now. Peter's got to be feeling good about that one. Isn't even going to ping. He's just going to go ahead and drop Argent Squire and the Feral Spirit. Great positioning by him too. Betrayal, not a very good option here for SilentStorm. Auctioneer gets picked up, but there are no spells in hand right now, so and his hand is clunky at the moment. I mean, it's looking like Zero go.
Playing around Betrayal. You know, it's not even like, you know, that's a nice meme and all, but it's kind of poor Flame Tongue positioning, honestly.
So Gadget's in and trade for SilentStorm. He wants to force some action out of Peter here. Rockbiter. Yep, cleans it up very nicely. Second Feral Spirit. And once again, this used to be the kind of turn that was really scary to make against Rogue because Deadly Poison Blade Flurry was suddenly massive against you. But here, 2-3 taunts are like kind of a nightmare for Rogue all of a sudden.
Yep. So, I mean, I'm gonna go with Fan. Maybe. I mean, I kind of just like 2 minions here better. Save the Fan. Fan would clear off more damage in the immediate future.
He's got to be concerned about that. I mean, he's down to 19.
So,
backstep picked up afterwards.
based on how this game's going, Auctioneer, not a good card.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really done anything this game.
And this is an insanely powerful turn.
Being able to set the Argent Horse Rider inside to get extra damage off the Flame Tongue.
Is this it?
Not quite.
No,
I mean,
it's looking like quite to me.
Zeril could, you know, he could always pick up something with Zeril and maybe fend off
What?
the board just a little bit longer.
What? He can't pick up a card with Zeril. I guess he can if he gets a 2 damage one and backstabs the 4-1. Okay. He'd be alive by 1.
I mean, it's not looking great, but he's not dead.
Okay, he can faceless the charge.
Zeril's going to be the play.
Nope.
That one returns a bit
That's
into
it.
your hand and makes it cost 2 less.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to go for it again. He's just got to hope. He could still pick up 2 damage.
There it is.
2 damage on that. Backstab onto the 4-1.
Yep.
10 damage available for Peter next turn. Any castable damage will end the game for him. I think Tunnel Trog might just be good enough.
I think his hero power is good enough.
I'm just going to go ahead and Lava Burst now, wants the extra power. I mean, Zeril does not have a heal as any of the Toxins. As you can imagine, Toxins don't heal.
Yeah, he needed different cards in his hand.
So he could draw a card in Earthen Ring Farseer. He gets the card draw.
Nope.
Not it.
Man, you're really into these comebacks, but
I love the comebacks.
I'm just casting at the 99%, man.
It's
He
not
is
gonna
done
do
so.
it. Peter, 3 games to 2 over SilentStorm. Shaman's looking good.